Kevin, would you like to go ahead and start with talking about USITCC and this year and last year and next year and
Sure. And thank you very much, Fred. Morning, everyone. Here you are at the virtual version of USITCC 2022 sessions. And as some of y'all may remember, we had to unfortunately do this a year ago. And fast forward to this year, at the time we made the decision to go virtual, that was way back in January, to where the Omicron variant was still surging. A lot of the schools and universities across the country had still already banned student org travel, out-of-state travel, and so on. So we made the strategic decision back in January to say, all right, it's not happening. We're going to go virtual. Hence why we're here today to do a repeat or an encore session with different players, speakers, and ideas of the chapter best practices. This afternoon, we'll be talking about the USITCC Awards Program. And let's see if I can do the screen share. And the answer is yes. So where's my spreadsheet? There it is. So on the screen, you see the session we're about to start right now. Student org management best practices, a sharing amongst all of us. Then this afternoon, we'll talk about the student org awards. And we've had a number of applicants, and the judges are busy reviewing those applicants right now. Then a week from today, we're going to have a professional development type session focusing on IT infrastructure and the color purple and the number 7. Hopefully that raised enough curiosity and questions. So a week from today, literally, join us then. And then you can see the Zoom links have all been, at least I shared the 2 Zoom links for today's sessions already last night and any of the last minute registrants this morning. And I'll do the same for next week's sessions. I'll just wait to see if we get any additional registrants so that I take care of everyone all at one time. And then on Friday afternoon, a week from today, we'll announce the launch of a new student organization for existing student organizations and chapters to affiliate with, and more on that to come. But you can already see some of the backgrounds of not only myself, but Dr. Kitchens and Dr. Grimes. We're all spouting and showing the new moniker. And if you're curious as to tell me more, hold that thought. A week from today, this afternoon, that is, a week from this afternoon, I'll say it right, to hear all about ITSA. We are planning on going back to live physical events like we had planned on earlier this year. That'd be spring of 2023, and it may or may not be in Plano. I got to start that research process again. And I'm not sure if we have any reps. I have to go back and look at the attendee list from Missouri State University. They are planning on doing a regional event, and Missouri State in Springfield, Missouri, kind of smack in the middle of the country. So it's more Midwestern-y. So it's a great opportunity if you want to re-ramp up your skills, much like Amarillo at Amarillo College did last fall, which was fairly well attended. Less than normal because some schools were still having challenges and issues, and attendees for that matter as well. But a great time was had by all with lots of winners. So, hey, it's at least in the middle part of the country, a little bit easier for everyone to get to. So more details on that coming soon. So keep those email inboxes open and being checked. With no further ado, how about flipping it back over to Fred and Cam and on with the show for today.
All right, thank you, Kevin. So I am Fred Kitchens from Ball State University, and with us is Cam West, also from Ball State, our chapter president. Let me go ahead and share some slides. I think Kevin has.
I unshared.
Covered. Is it shared now?
No, I unshared the what I was showing on the spreadsheet.
Oh, gotcha. There we go. You see that? You see that?
Yep.
Okay.
We do now.
Good. Okay, as I said, Fred Kitchens from Ball State University. I think Kevin already covered some of these slides, but we'll also post these. They have some dates and times included here. If I can get it to advance. There we go. So this afternoon, IT Student Organization Awards. I'll be here covering the organization awards for your chapters. And next week, what does a Purple 7 have to do with information technology with Bob Graham? And in the afternoon at 2 o'clock, the grand announcement of this new chapter affiliation program. If you'd like a new chapter name, if your previous chapter name has expired in any way, or if you'd just like to join a large organization, we will present our plans for that. And as Kevin mentioned, the regional competition will be in October in Springfield, Missouri. And please go out to LinkedIn and connect with us, connect with USITCC for updates. And you can also check the USITCC.com website. So today, we wanted to talk about just chapter management and returning to campus and the adjustments and changes that chapters have to go through, and maybe some recruitment and some meeting structure, and anything else you want to talk about, anything that's on your mind, please speak up. Let's share some ideas and help each other out. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Cam, who is a two-year chapter president and has been recognized from the university as an outstanding president. I think he's a little closer to the students and better prepared than I am to talk about creative ideas. So Cam, it's all yours.
Thank you, Fred.
Congratulations, Cam.
Thank you. Yeah, obviously, going through a pandemic for all of us was challenging, especially trying to run a student organization. Whenever we got the news, what feels like forever ago, 2 years ago, almost exactly, Fred and I decided that we would forge on and continue. And I see some familiar faces that I've seen at some of our other meetings where we kind of discussed. We kind of tried to kind of pave the way through the pandemic to try to figure out what would work and how we could continue to sustain success or improve success at the student organization level. So now that we're returning to campus, and I know it's an ever evolving situation and it looks completely different for all of you. I'd just like to kind of hear kind of where you guys are at and where everybody is at with their return to campus in terms of, are you in person? Are you virtual? Are you doing a hybrid format? We definitely just had an interesting meeting structure yesterday, so I'd like to get into that later. I'll kind of start things off at Ball State. We've been fortunate that we've actually dropped the mask policy and we are back to completely in person, which is really awesome. We're able to bring in alumni speakers again in person. And also we are able to travel, if a guest speaker or an alumni wants to bring us to their facility for a tour, we can do that again. So it's been really awesome. Our return to campus is going smoothly. I hope to hear the same for the rest of you. But now I'd like to turn things over. Kevin, if you're okay, I'll start with you to kind of hear about what your chapter is doing. And then if everybody else I know we've got a couple people on here that are at Ball State as well. So Brian and Carly, thank you guys for joining. And Noah, John Louis, and Tyler even. Yeah, quite a few Ball State student organization members. I almost said our old name. I'd like to just kind of hear about how things are going. So Kevin, give me an update. Sure. I hope it's good news.
Of course it is. And actually, one of our chapter officers, Nia Moffitt, is on this call.
Okay.
And Nia, if you want to share what the chapter's been doing all semester and unmute and show us your awesome self, that'd be great.
Okay, I just need a second.
No problem. I put you on the spot, obviously. And by the way, we're all at Texas State University, where the temperature today is supposed to be like 85 outside, and yesterday was almost 90.
Wow, we just had snow this morning. It was crazy. We had 75 degrees on Wednesday. Felt fantastic. I was wearing shorts. And then I had to pull the winter coat out of the closet today. Thought I was done with that, but no, we actually had some accumulation, probably about quarter of an inch. Not much, but just a little bit of accumulation early this morning. Pretty crazy.
It's the season for varied weather.
Yes, no doubt about it.
So you take it away if you're ready. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm ready. Yes, so this semester we have been doing a few different things. So our AITP group competed in a datathon this past week, and it was a really good experience. We were able to look at data that USAA gave to us, and we were able to come up with a pitch. And so that was a pretty cool experience. We just had our social last night, and we went bowling at Evo, like in San Marcos, which was pretty fun. And we have had 2 chapter meetings so far, and our last chapter meeting is just coming up Tuesday. And tomorrow, some of our members are participating in Bobcat Build, which is a day of community service that we're able to go and give back to our city, San Marcos, Texas. Yes.
Awesome.
And then to add to what Nia said, depending on the recall factor, last fall, we also had socials and live chapter meetings and events. We also hosted a couple hundred high school students on our campus for a one-day IT symposium event. And we took 9 students to Amarillo, Texas, in the middle of nowhere, Panhandle, Texas, and competed and won 5 different awards. And the 9 people we took, all but one, actually won something coming back. So we've been busy, we've been active, we've been all over the rainbow and place. So we're back full on, and it's go time at every chapter event.
Well, that's great to hear. I'm really happy for you guys, and that's fantastic. So going into when we get into the next 2 topics, recruitment and the meeting structure, I'm interested to hear about that, since it sounds like we're kind of on the same page with that. So who would like to volunteer to go next? I don't want to put anybody else on the spot. All right, Mary, how are things going?
Things are improving. I'm from Gateway Technical College, Wisconsin. We got 2 inches of snow yesterday.
You beat me. You beat us here in Indiana.
Yeah, it's all gone, pretty much gone already though, but
Yeah, ours is too.
yeah. The school finally rolled back the mandate to optional beginning March 1st of this year. Yeah, so on the 19th, 18th, and 19th, they gave us 1 week's notice. I put in at the beginning of the year to hold, what we do for our community is hold PC clinics, where people bring in their PCs. We try to fix them up, upgrade them to Windows 10 or whatever they can handle. And we haven't been able to have one since 2019.
Wow.
So I put in January to have one in February, which we were denied. And then 1 week before our dates and that we had the rooms in March, they gave us permission. So with 1 week's advertising, we held our first PC clinic in 2 years. And we were overwhelmed. We had more people show up than we could handle. I was still we accepted the PCs on Friday and then worked on them on Friday, and then Saturday they were supposed to come back when we texted them to pick up their stuff. I was still handing back machines throughout the week after because we had so many to take care of. So that went over really well. they're considering lifting the travel mandate. They haven't quite done that yet, at least not for students. They have for administrators, but not for students. But we've just been doing everything over Zoom. It was really nice to be in the same room as my students for a couple days. It's the first I've seen them in a long time. But we're hopeful that we're going to roll out fully online as close to normal as ever in fall. So that's what we've been up to. We should have a game. We're going to have a game thing over Discord before the end of the semester. That's usually our big hurrah at the end of this semester. So that's it for us.
All right. That's great news. I'm glad to hear that there's improvement. And wow, that PC clinics. That's an idea that I have not heard. We don't do that here at Ball State. So that's a neat little activity. I thank you for sharing with us.
You spend a lot of time clearing off viruses and all the browser add-ons that people get when they download other software. You know, they come in with the average age of our customer is probably between 65 and 70. So we get some machines that we have to tell them, I'm so sorry, we can't update you because it's just too old. One fella brought us 2 machines that we put together to make one working machine for him. Then we told him to stay off the internet because we could only get it as high as Windows 7 and 32-bit, I might add. So it's fun. It's interesting, the customers that we get.
I bet. Wow. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah. Thank you again for sharing the PC clinics little tidbit. That is interesting. Who would like to go next to talk about how their chapter or student organization, rather, how their student organization is doing right now? If nobody wants to go, I can pick someone. Mark, you oversee a student organization, correct?
You know, I actually do not. I haven't been involved with our student organization in a minute, so I really haven't gotten a report from them lately as far as how things are ramping back up. But I do need to circle back with our faculty advisor and kind of check into that.
All right, no worries. Is there anybody else that would like to share? If not, then we can shift. But I just want to give one more chance for anybody else that would like to share.
Sorry, I'll just chime in a little bit. I am Dessa David from Morgan State in Baltimore, and we are back, kind of hybrid and also some face-to-face. Our student organizations, we're still meeting online. We have not gotten back into the full swing of in-person. I think we tried one hybrid meeting at the beginning of the year and everybody opted to the online. But we have been bringing in lots of companies and we have a lot of participation from companies who do not have to trek on campus. So we're having a lot of recruiting events, but in terms of like other developmental stuff that we would do by ourselves, we've been a little behind on that because, of course, we're not together. But in terms of the recruiting, I actually saw a ramp up in recruiting from companies coming in.
Okay.
All righty.
Thank you for sharing. That's great to hear, and that actually kind of leads into our next topic. Is there anybody else? Last chance. Is there anybody else that would like to share anything about their student organization's return to campus? Going once, going twice. Okay, cool. So next I want to kind of just transition into recruitment. It's always something that I'm very interested to hear about how other campuses are handling recruitment. For us, we've been able to shift back to in-person recruitment. In terms of promoting our student organization, we're actually very fortunate that the Miller College of Business, which is the College of Business here at Ball State, which we are affiliated with, and our major, which is Computer Information Systems, is also affiliated with the College of Business. they will hold different events that promote not only our student organization, but all of the Miller College of Business student organizations. They've done one typically every semester. That's where people like Carly Boggs, who's on the call right now, actually. We found her at one of those events, which was really, really awesome. It's really helpful on a kind of macro scale. We're able to talk to a lot more students. They actually require younger students to attend these events, which is really helpful because then we're getting a younger audience that typically wouldn't maybe really care or look as in depth. So we've been very fortunate with that. Now I'd like to hear about some of the other organizations recruitment. We're on recruitment still. I'd like to hear about some of the other recruitment that's been going on.
Being all online, really the only thing we've had at our fingertips is I get a list of everyone registered for IT courses, and I just blast them with emails, unfortunately. But I had, for instance, at our clinic, I didn't have any of my officers were not able to make it, but I had all sorts of new recruits there that had never been before. I had one that had been. And the other thing I do, and I try to get my other instructors to do it as well, I offer extra credit. Anytime anybody does anything with the club, they get 5 points. It's really minor, it's meaningless in the scheme of things, but they go for it. And if they have me for multiple classes, they can submit it in all the classes. I don't care. Because I just want them getting involved with each other, especially with them all being online right now. The more that they can interact and do things together, I figure the best. But yeah, it's been pretty lame. We had to give up our name officially at the beginning of the year. We had to come up with something temporary. So that's been interesting, trying to transition. And I knew it was going to be tough with advertising the clinic without having the name we've had for, I don't know, a couple decades. But we had good outreach, so it's still going to work, and I'm looking forward to next week's details of the new club.
We will have those for you. You get to you're with me. I'm really excited as well. We also were forced to kind of drop our previous name, and this is going to be an awesome opportunity to not only, I think, get some of that marketing back, but also kind of join on a national level, join some other student organizations so we can continue to kind of build off each other and share ideas with each other.
Well, and if we could get a Discord going for the national affiliation, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that.
Because that's what's really brought my students continue to find each other on Discord, and they suck them into our Discord, and next thing you know, they're helping me with something. So
yeah, we definitely were blasting out emails when we were not face to face to any majors that were IT related or students that were in those courses, and it worked. I mean, it might not be the same efficiency that you might find in person, obviously, but it works. And I would that was going to be my recommendation. So I'm glad that you guys are that you're able to kind of identify those students and send that. So awesome. Also, is it Nia? Nia,
Yes.
how are things going over at Texas State?
With in-person events?
Oh, with recruitment. In terms of recruitment, how are things going? How are things going for your student organization?
It's been pretty good. I think as a club, we just have to figure out times that just work best to have more people come out, because there's been a lot of like class conflictions this semester. If I feel like every professor has wanted like their classes to be at 5 o'clock, and like a lot of our events start at 5 o'clock. So as a club, we just have to work on that. But there are a lot of people like interested in coming. It's just with the confliction and stuff, we just have to work on that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That you bring up a good point. That's an issue that I think any student organization faces, and it is a challenge. For us, something that we've tried to do is even try to kind of have different meetings at different times of the day, just throughout the semester. We typically shoot for Thursdays at 5:15. So we're right around that same time, you know, that 5 o'clock time. We find that with alumni, that's obviously easiest to get them because they're getting off work. But with that being said, we'll try to spice things up, you know, throw in like a Wednesday at a 4 p.m. or, you know, Tuesday at 6 p.m. and just kind of try to be flexible. You know, it's definitely not the majority of our events, but it still seems like it can help. So, you know, like you said, that's something you guys are looking into. So I can't wait to hear about how that goes. So moving on now to the meeting structure. Is there anybody else that wants to share anything about recruitment before we move on? All right, awesome. So now I'd like to move on to meeting structure. We just had a very interesting meeting yesterday here at Ball State, where our student organization actually found out that our guest speaker could not attend in person, but for some reason their schedule was flexible enough for them to join via Zoom. And so I didn't actually tell our members that we were going to meet on Zoom. I just kept things kind of planned as planned. My cat's climbing up the wall right now. Sorry, stop it. We were able to all meet in person, and then we actually have a 360-degree camera that we were able to utilize for the meeting, which was really, really a unique feel, where we had the guest speaker on the big projector, and then they were able to see all of us via the 360-degree camera, and it went smoothly. It's the first time we've done that, or it's not the first time. It's one of the first. We've only done a couple meetings like that. Obviously, we try to do it all in person, but there's been a couple times where we've zoomed people in, but yet been in person. And it worked for us. So that's something we think could work for people that are maybe across the country. You know, if we've got someone out in Texas or California, or, you know, even like Minnesota or even Chicago, for us, you know, that's a couple hours of a drive. So it kind of gives us more opportunity to bring in a wider variety of people that are all over the country. So that's kind of a new meeting structure for us. I'd like to hear from both Mary and Nia if you guys have any interesting, you know, meeting structures. I will say the PC clinics, that's an interesting one that I did not know about. Do you have any others that you'd like to share?
We've been doing everything on Zoom or Discord.
Okay, yeah, Discord, that's another one. We actually just had a student in our chapter, or our student organization, that he asked if he could make a Discord for our student organization, and I said, well, yeah, why not? I learned something that day, because I don't actually use Discord. So it was interesting, and I think that we should see to it that we have a Discord for the new ITSA student organization. So we'll look into that. And anything else?
That seems to attract the silent members, the ones who aren't sure, don't really know if they want to get into the whole student club thing. And then the next thing you know, they're coming up with suggestions, because you can put surveys out there. You can put all different things together on Discord that keep them interested. And then they start coming up with ideas. So we've really, some of my most active members have kind of accidentally found themselves on our Discord, and now they're active. So you got to have both, I think.
Yep. Perfect. I agree with you. I agree. Nia, in terms of meeting structure, any unique meeting structures, or what does a typical meeting look like for your student organization?
Since the fall semester, we've been mainly back in person, but in fall 2020 and spring 2021, we were mainly on Zoom.
Okay. Okay. And anything unique, any type of unique events in terms of, you know, something along the lines of like the PC clinics. I heard about the datathon. That sounded really cool. Anything else that you'd like to add?
Yes, I guess I can elaborate on the datathon. So the datathon was, so there's two parts. Part one, which was last week, was fully virtual, and part two, which is happening this week, actually tomorrow, there's gonna be like an in-person session where the USAA and like the people participating in the datathon are able to come and work like on their visualization piece, like in person. So I thought that was pretty cool that they offered it like hybrid and like in person, so we could accommodate towards like all people.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Cool. Wow, thank you for sharing. Something that I wanted to add too, before I forget, that we've done here at Ball State. Just a couple weeks ago, we had we called it a connections event. It was actually called CIS Connections, and so it was endorsing or promoting rather our major, which is the IT major that we're linked with, computer information systems. And sorry, I'm trying to make sure people get admitted as they come in. So we were able to not only promote the major here at Ball State, but also our student organization. We actually went around and asked if the professors in the department of, here it's called ISOM, Information Systems and Operations Management. We went around and asked the professors in the lower level classes if they would offer extra credit, kind of like what you spoke about, Mary, extra credit for attending this event to the younger students. That way we could get them in there. And then we ended up having a really nice turnout of young students that were eager to get that extra credit. And little did they know that they were going to get a sales pitch that night on not only the CIS major in the College of Business, but then also the accompanying student organization. And I think it worked. We had some really interested participants, and it really was helpful. The professors, it was met with almost immediate exception. You know, they did not hesitate to give us some extra credit. So that's a meeting that was really, really helpful. And then we were able to bring in 3 alumni for an alumni panel. Plus myself was the 4th, just speaking about, you know, being the president and kind of what my responsibilities are and what it's been like for me being on the kind of in the leadership role in the student organization and what I've gotten from it from a student perspective. So it was really helpful, and I'd recommend something along those lines if you're looking to recruit not only for your student organization, but then also for a major. Yep.
Let me add a little bit to that, because it's a very, very helpful event for recruiting students to both AITP and CIS. We've been doing it for a long time, but when we started, I took some students into, it was a large auditorium type inclined seating room, and we went in there. I said, we need to transform this room into something else. It can't look like a lecture hall, and when it can't feel like students are being lectured to. So we all sat just around the room, and we just sort of discussed and talked about what could this room be. And someone said, you know what, could we make it a talk show environment? So we did, and we put a sheet over the teacher's station, brought in some taller cocktail tables and some high seating, and put 3 alumni, and then we decided to add a student, so that particularly someone like Cam, who could talk about AITP and what he's got out of it, and kind of relate to some of the things alumni were talking about when they said you should join a student organization. Cam could stand up and say, yes, you should. Here's how you do that. And then the talk show host was a student, not a faculty. And we found that having a student ask questions to the panel, and especially if a student will walk a little bit into the audience, down the aisle a little bit, the other students in the audience really start picking up and asking questions. They feel like, oh, it's a student asking questions, I can ask questions too. It's been very, very successful in recruiting students to both AITP. And of course, we put the AITP banner in the background, and the screen has the alumni's names and information and some facts about AITP. So there's a lot of marketing going on. But I think it's very, very effective for us.
Yep. And I did not pay him to say that for our student organization. So I have here, we have other topics. Are there any other topics? I know we've got a couple people that just came in. Kenneth and Krista, are you guys, which student organization are you guys with? Kenneth and Krista?
Or what school?
Or what school? I'm sorry, what school? Okay. So
Cam, one other thing before we move on, you mentioned the 360-degree camera. Let me just share I looked it up. We got one. Let me share my screen again real quick here. This is just Amazon. And coincidentally, the highest price and lowest price cameras are like right here at the top. The Dean has the high price one, $999 camera, the Owl. The Dean has that. It's wonderful. It'll actually track who's speaking. It'll show the rest of the room. But there's no way I was going to pay $900. But I got the department to pay the $99 for the cheap one. We were skeptical. We weren't sure if it was going to work, but we read the reviews. And it's called J5 Create 360-degree all-around camera. It's wonderful. It does everything we need. That little, it's facing horizontal now, but you can turn that camera up so it's facing the ceiling, and it'll give you a 360-degree view. It's the whole room. The microphone is great. We got a classroom of about, Cam, what's the seating capacity in that room we use? Probably
40.
40. And the microphone will pick up everybody in the room. And you can switch from 360 degrees to 120 degrees and some different modes with like split screen and things. It does everything we need, and it's almost the extras the Owl has, we don't need, put it that way. So for $99, if you want a 360 degree camera, and it really helps the speakers see everybody all at once, and I feel like it creates a little more of a community environment when you can see the whole room there. So I just want to point that out because I think it's been very helpful.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It gives us that adaptability in terms of meeting structure. We can have a guest speaker come in that's not in person, but we can all be in person and you can see all of us. I would say also the microphone picks up the audio, like our voice, pretty well. We're able to communicate with them. I mean, we got a couple of members that are quieter that sit in the back it makes it a little challenging at times, but all in all, I had no issues communicating with them yesterday because we were kind of going back and forth, and it went smoothly. So yeah, really cool. Are there any other topics that anybody would like to share today? Okay, so that is really all I've got. I really just wanted to kind of go through quickly and just kind of find out how things are going. So it looks like we might be getting some of our time.
Thing you may consider, Cam, now that we're ending the soon to be, hard to believe, the end of the spring semester here in about a month, give or take, is recruiting officers and electing officers, because that's a perennial challenge for many student orgs.
Yeah, we just tried to kind of nail down our dates actually for nominations and elections. We kind of do a 2-meeting process where we have a meeting that's for nominations. It can be both like you can give your own nominate yourself, or give a nomination to somebody, if you think someone could be a great candidate. And then following that, we'll do elections. And so we're really hoping to do that end of April. We're kind of eyeing the last 2 Thursdays, like 21st and 28th of April. For nominations and elections, because yeah, I'm graduating, so I'm like, guys, I gotta pass the torch here. Thank you, Kevin. But yeah, I don't want to, that's kind of leadership 101, right? I don't want to just leave our student organization just like with a new name and no one knows what's going on. You know, I'm really trying to, and I'm also tried to make sure I documented the processes better, because when I started, I was just kind of like, it was tribal knowledge. I was just like, what do I need to do, Fred? And so you know, that I think that might be helpful as well. So I agree with you, Kevin. And yeah, hopefully we can fill positions better now that things are going back to normal, because it was challenging during COVID.
Yeah, Cam, that's a good point. That I have for a long time been, you know, going to these, setting these things up, and every year there's a new president, new officers. So I take pictures, and when things go well, I make notes. I file it away, and next year I pull out those notes and pictures. I hand them to the officers and say, "That's what you want to do. There's your marching orders," and it just gets better every year. If you just make those notes and take a couple pictures, it'll get better every year.
Yep. Yeah, and thank you, Mary, for kind of shifting gears to the more faculty advisor side of things. I actually was going to do that at the end anyway, so that was perfect. And by all means, you know, if the faculty advisors wish to stay on and kind of chat amongst themselves about other things related to student organizations, you're more than welcome to. But that's all I have on the student side of things. I know we're scheduled, I think, to go to 12:30 Eastern time for me. So we've still got roughly 40 minutes. But I'm not gonna try to stretch this 40 more minutes. So everyone is gonna get back some of their time on this beautiful Friday, if that's okay with everybody. I've kind of covered everything. Is there anything else that anybody would like to add, or any questions that anyone has?
Or another sharing moment.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how does everybody communicate with their students? Because email, for me at least, nobody's reading their emails anymore. We tried GroupMe, started that about 5 years ago, and it worked for about 3 years, but I feel like that interest in GroupMe seems to be falling off. Is there anything else? We mentioned Discord. Is there anything else people are using to communicate with students?
Email and Discord, that's all I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Discord is a really great idea. I know our student organization uses that, and you know, gives a nice kind of persistent record of the conversations, as well as being very you know, synchronous in nature. Yeah, it's pretty widely used by students, so I think that's a great idea.
We've done the emails and the GroupMe stuff too. We had a Discord account a while back, mostly, you know, gaming centric was the original impetus, but the person behind it graduated, and then it kind of like fell out of usage because of the community at the time. And it's just every semester you get a different collection of members, potential members, as well as officers. And there is the flavor of the month kind of deal.
And we're a 2-year university, so I really have them going through like a revolving door. We try to keep them for multiple majors, which we usually have them, you know, and then part-time they're there for maybe, you know, 3 years or so. But yeah, recruiting stuff, hanging on to good officer material.
Well, in our case, a lot of students, for whatever reason, choose not to even join till, you know, junior or senior year. So just because you're a 2-year school doesn't mean the 4-year schools get them all 4. It's rare. It's really rare if you have them for 2 years.
They wait till it's resume material, right?
And oh, I got to get a job.
Yep.
Or they hear about competition events that they want to attend. And it's called, well, you can't attend unless you're a member. So that's another caveat.
Well, and for us, we are not allowed to charge a fee to join the club. So it has to be participation for you to be able to travel and go to competitions and stuff. So that's when I get my PC clinics well staffed.
well, it's even tough on the funding side.
Yep.
Because at least we charge a membership fee. Granted, it's nominal, and then we say, but you get a T-shirt and pizza at the meal. But we don't have a police force to say, oh no, you can't eat a slice of pizza because you're not a member.
Right.
All right, cool. Well, on the student side, I'm gonna say I'm gonna release the students. Is that cool with everybody, all the faculty advisors? Give them back some of their Friday. Okay. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to all the students that have joined on the call today. We've got another one later this afternoon. For those of you that are on Eastern time, that will be 3 o'clock. So that is, I believe, 2 o'clock for you Central timers, right? Yep. All right, cool. Well, thank you.
And the session is being recorded and will be posted to the USITCC virtual channel. And we'll do the same thing for the session this afternoon. And then we'll get them updated and posted, so you can share with fellow officers and members.
Yep. Thank you, Kevin. Great to see everybody again, by the way. Kevin, great to see you. I hope you're doing well. Mary, thank you so much for joining. Mark, great to see you. Thank you, Nia, for sharing today. And that is all that I have. Thank you so much for your time on this beautiful Friday.